Nobody was paid. I think the budget was like $30, but you know, if you want to do it and if it's something that is really important to you, you'll find a way to do it.
So if the issue is obtaining financing for a first-time filmmaker, the answer is good luck, because it's almost impossible.
Would you take the money out of your personal bank account and invest in something as speculative as an independent film? You have to ask yourself that question. What is the risk, which is very, 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 very high, and what's the rate of return? Not so great, even if you're successful.
I think there you would have to look at your more long-term goal rather than, okay, I'm going to do one project this year. Am I going to do 5 projects this year? If you're just doing one project, it doesn't make a lot of sense to purchase a camera when you can easily rent one. As far as the money side of it, if you purchase a camera, it's a tax liability, and you're going to have to depreciate that, and you're going to be paying taxes on it for the life of the depreciation schedule. If you rent the camera, it is then a business expense that you can write off.
I have a camera that I bought last summer, and John has a camera he bought last summer. And so we've always collaborated on work and everything, so those are our cameras we're using. And John also has some other equipment and cameras and stuff. And so all the equipment was bought for purpose of making some money doing video, not necessarily for the film. So we have those, so that's what we're using. And then we use equipment that either someone lets me use or I know. Same thing with locations and stuff. Everything has been given to me just because of people I know. I think the greatest resource, better than money, even if I had money, the best resource I've used on this film is just people I know and how I contact people, and I guess networking is a good one.
So in other words, when you buy a camera, you're buying a lot more than a camera. You have to buy lenses and tripods and monitors and all the accoutrements that go with it. Or you can go down the road and rent it, and you're done again.
The smart move in using the money in making your independent production would be to put a lot of emphasis in the pre-production, which will cost the least amount of money, but is the most important. If you don't do the pre-production, then you're eventually going to use up more of your money in production and post because of lack of preparation.
Typical indie dramatic piece, you know, I would definitely spend my money on solid actors, you know, going and, you know, actually doing some traveling, trying to get some people around here. There's some fantastic actors around here and actresses around here, but, you know, I wouldn't limit myself to any one place. I would try to find really, really good talent.
One of the obstacles that you're going to run up against when you're doing your independent project is legal issues. Talent release forms, location releases, music that's used. It's just not worth using copyrighted material in your project without paying for it. One, you could, you know, get hit with a very hefty fine, which you don't want to do that. You want to put your money into your production, not a fine.
Another concern was when you film a movie, it kind of needs to be back. You have to have a business or company. So now me and John explored what the deal with business or whatever. So now, as of last week, we're officially a business. So now it's officially licensed, Knoxville Motion Picture. So there you go.
That you probably need to incorporate as a limited liability company, or get a business started as a limited liability company, and get some insurance through an insurance agent. $1 million limited liability policy is usually less than $300 for a year until you claim something, and of course it goes up. But to start out with, just to get permission to shoot in many cities, you have to have a business permit, and you have to have a liability insurance policy. Even to rent equipment in many places, they won't rent to you unless you have a liability policy.
Distribution is what every independent producer wants for their project. The problem is everybody wants that distribution deal. They're few and far between. There are people that make actual full feature films shot on 35 millimeter that they basically end up selling them on DVD on the internet because they fail to get a distribution deal. So it's very hard to get the distribution deal. If you're a first-time filmmaker, and you do get a distribution deal, you probably should seek, the entertainment attorney, agents, whatever, in order to protect yourself, because usually the distribution company is the one that gets the large cut. And if you get enough money to pay back your cost, you'd be doing good.
Distribution is really tough for a first-time filmmaker, but it gets easier the second and third. The general way to do it is to create a website, put trailers and excerpts and cutouts from the movie on there to whet people's appetite, submit it to film festivals, make sure that when you submit to film festivals that everyone gets the URL so they can go visit it on the website. Feel free to put trailers anywhere and everywhere. Send them to your friends, ask them to distribute them, send them, hey, I saw this cool thing a friend of mine did. You just get as much visible recognition out there as possible. If you have a local paper, submit the trailers and whatever other information, put a press package together and send it to the local paper for review. Offer to the reviewer or critic from the local paper to come to a viewing or screening of your film that's now being submitted to film festivals around the country. Try and get as much recognition through film festivals as you can.
Tried to play it pretty smart on, which festivals liked what movies. Everybody always asks anytime you make a movie, oh, did you submit it Sundance? And I mean, if you look at Sundance in the past, like 5 or 6 years ago, like Sundance, it was documentary, and every one of the documentaries was dark. Kids dying in this country, adults dying here, fat people in Texas. It's just like morbid. It's like, I would not want to submit like a comedy during that year. It's like, holy cow, it's like, no way.
But at least they can claim they got distribution, and that's the important thing, because that's what gets you into a better position to get financing for film number 2, the real movie that you really wanted to make. So the first one should not be a throwaway, but it should not be your heart and soul's creative joy and desire. It should be something that you're doing that's, if not formulaic, at least possibly successful using the usual distribution channels.
My greatest fear is not that I would fail necessarily, and people would say, oh, well, he tried to do it, but he didn't finish it. Because it's not realistic for me, because I'm going to finish it either way. Whether it's good or not is a fear of mine. My fear is that it's just not good. And I can accept that. It's just that if it was bad, I would feel like, not that I wasted my time, but that I wasted other people's time. So the fear is not making it as good as it should be. So that's my fear.
Set yourself on fire and see how fast you can run. I mean, and that kind of, okay, that's pretty good, Challenge yourself to do something different, okay, I'm going to do this, and then figure out how to do it, and do it well.